Welcome to the podcast, It's Not You, It's PCOS. Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Nick.
We are two expert accredited practicing dietitians and nutritionists specializing in nutrition for PCOS and fertility.
Together we have over 25 years of experience, and we want to reassure you that if you have ever tried to make diet and lifestyle changes and failed, it's not you, it's PCOS.
Stay tuned as we share our favorite evidence-based nutrition and lifestyle tips that we use with our own clients every day,
so that you can start to feel your best with PCOS. Laura, I need to tell you something, and you're going to want to sit down.
Nick, I am sitting down. I'm always sitting down. This is a podcast.
Yes, fair point. My bad. You know that thing, that condition called PCOS? It's actually no longer called PCOS.
I'm sorry, what?
Yep, as of last week, the Lancet, it's done. 14,000 people surveyed, new name, global.
Epic, so good. I'm so happy to hear that. But what does that mean for us? I mean, we have a problem, don't we?
Yeah,
what are we going to call our podcast now?
It's definitely all about us.
Absolutely.
No, definitely not. So well, we're vintage now. We're retro, at least in the same format as what we've been doing. We're like the Blockbuster Video of women's health podcasts.
Huh. I don't know how I feel about that, but I do feel good about the new name change. What is it?
So it's called Polyendocrine Metabolic Ovarian Syndrome, or PMOS.
So PMOS. Okay, that's going to take me a little while to stop saying PCOS. It's going to be hard. Okay, so welcome everyone to It's Not You, It's PMOS. How cool is that?
I like it.
So how long have we had the name for, though? I mean, it's been around for a very long time.
Yeah, it's been around since like the 1930s. This is PCOS. And basically in the field, it's, I don't know, I guess like everyone in the field has actually been quietly side-eyeing the name for about 30 years, I reckon. So kind of like my sausage dog does to me when she's hungry. She's just like looking at me from the side going, what's going on with this?
Yeah. Well, makes sense to me. The name is just wrong. It doesn't really reflect what the condition fully embodies.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the whole cyst thing has never really sat well with me, and I'm a man. So, you know, polycystic really means lots of cysts, and women with PCOS or PMOS don't actually have pathological ovarian cysts, and they actually never did. They're follicles.
Yeah, it's just how that is shown on a ultrasound. So I guess it's follicles in a holding pattern. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how would we explain that? Because I think a lot of people do feel like there's this hyper focus on just the cysts. And if you've ever or if you can recall when you were first diagnosed, a doctor sort of talking you through that, and they may tell you do have cysts on your ovaries, and you're probably thinking, you know, what does that mean? Are they going to rupture? Like what is all of that about? Like not everybody has that, but it is something that PCOS has been known for a very long time. And it does sound a little bit alarming.
Yeah, for sure. But what's actually happening is there's lots of small follicles, and they're like little fluid sacs. They're totally normal and part of follicle development. They've just gotten stuck. They're not cysts. They're actually just follicles having a bad day.
Yeah. So that's that follicles in a holding pattern that I mentioned before. Can you unpack that a little bit more? Why are they in a holding pattern?
So these follicles, they're like circling around in the airport. Like you say, they're in a holding pattern. They want to land. They just can't get clearance from the tower. So this is a metaphor about your hormones. So they just keep going around and around.
That is the most generous description of an ovulation I have ever heard. I love that. That makes a lot more sense than any other explanation anyway.
Well, I do work in fertility. And, you have to be generous. But the real issue, up to 70% of women with this condition are actually undiagnosed. That's crazy to think. And a big part of this is because of the name polycystic ovarian syndrome. It makes everyone think it's a gynae issue, a cyst thing, when actually it's a whole body condition. Insulin resistance, androgen excess, high testosterone, even cardiovascular risk, higher rates of diabetes, fatty liver, anxiety, depression. Doesn't sound like just a gynae thing.
No, the ovaries are kind of, well, beside the point.
Yeah, the ovaries are like the canary in the coal mine. The actual problem is much bigger.
Okay, so how does this actually happen? You don't just rename a condition affecting 170 million women on a Tuesday afternoon.
No, you don't. And, this process took years and over 14,000 survey responses from women living with the condition, dietitians like ourselves, GPs, endocrinologists, fertility specialists, psychologists, lots of organizations, something like over 50 different organizations around the world were contributing or contributed, and only 2 participants out of 90 in the final workshops didn't support the name change. So it was definitely a popular move.
2 people.
Yeah, so 2 people, they landed on polyendocrine, which kept that P at the start and kept it feeling like an evolution of PCOS rather than a total rebrand. So polycystic ovarian syndrome becomes polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome. PCOS becomes PMO.
I actually quite like it because it is similar to PCOS. We're not totally changing up everything because, it is hard to remember all this sort of lingo. And yeah, it's kind of like a brand changing their name, but sort of keeping the same look, the same kind of logo.
Yeah, that's right. It's exactly that.
Yeah. So, okay, let's actually unpack what these parts of the name mean a little bit more. Polyendocrine and metabolic ovarian. Why those 3?
So good question. Polyendocrine sounds, I don't know, if I didn't know all this stuff, that would be a little bit foreign to me. So this is the bit that I reckon gets undersold. It's not one hormone going wrong. It's a whole orchestra playing slightly out of tune. So insulin, androgens, luteinizing hormone, AMH, all these hormones. So endocrine means hormone. So the endocrine system means the hormonal system. 85% of women with this condition also have insulin resistance, including 75% of lean women, which is something that we don't often talk about.
Yeah, that's the bit I want everyone to hear. I see this constantly in practice. Women come in, they are slim, and they've been told you don't look like you have PCOS. And I think that can really be inflammatory. Yeah, it can be really, when someone is struggling with all the symptoms and there's just this dismissive kind of, you don't look like you have PCOS. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we're not going to be here all day. Yeah, it is dismissive.
Yeah. It's been dismissed for years. And so when we say polyendocrine, we mean it's just not one thing. It's not always visible. There's many things going on. And like Nick said, many hormones are involved.
Yeah, it almost feels like a whole system rather than just the one hormone that we need to be worried about. And that's kind of good and bad, I guess, because if multiple hormones are involved, it means that the treatment options are also great. You can focus on one hormone, which probably will help balance out the next hormone and so on and so forth. So it's a system rather than just a gynecological condition. So the next part of the name is metabolic. So because women with PMOS have significantly higher risk of type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, hypertension, and the odds ratio for myocardial infarction or heart attack is 2.5. That's 2.5 times the risk of a heart attack. So in a condition we've been treating as a fertility problem, this is where I really feel passionate about the name change. I think it's awesome because of this very point.
Yeah, it's so significant, and yeah, it's shocking that we don't talk about all the aspects of having PMOS. You know, sometimes we just hyper focus on that fertility piece.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you've got the third word in the name, and that's ovarian. So that bit actually survived. They actually considered ovulatory instead, but ovulatory was just too narrow and it stops mattering after menopause. So yeah, once we stop ovulating, it doesn't mean that we don't have PCOS or PMOS still. So we now know this condition doesn't stop at menopause, and the metabolic risk keeps going. So ovarian held up better. That's why it was kept. It covers the whole organ for a whole lifetime.
Excellent. It's a much better name.
Yeah, really is.
And I think practically someone listening to this who's had a PCOS diagnosis for years is probably thinking, you know, what actually changes for me now that there is this new name? You know, does anything else change?
Well, would you believe that diet and lifestyle is still one of the number one treatments for PMOS? So nothing about your condition or treatment has changed. You don't have a new disease, same condition, better name. It's probably going to get picked up better by health professionals. As we said before, there's a lot of women going through life and they're undiagnosed. But lucky for us, because I keep getting it wrong, there's a 3-year transition in terms of the name. So you'll see both PCOS and PMOS flying around for a while. But here's what I think matters, and it might make it easier to be taken seriously. So if you walk into a GP appointment and say, I have a polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome, it's pretty hard for that GP to go, come back when you want kids.
Yeah, their name is doing the advocacy for you. And I think that's the biggest blessing that is coming out of this. We are now targeting all the parameters.
Yeah, the name is doing the work now. And 71% of the people surveyed put stigma avoidance as a top priority. Patients even more than clinicians, I should say, because polycystic has made women feel broken for decades, like their ovaries are diseased. So they went with ovarian, anatomical, not functional. It describes a body part, not what the body part is supposedly failing to do.
It's a small shift, but it is significant, and it's doing a much better job. Yeah, there is so much stigma when it comes to already having the condition from many aspects, but this certainly has been a sticky point. Okay, the eulogy time. What are we going to miss about PCOS?
Well, we're going to miss those 4 letters because they just come off the tongue so easily. Everyone knew it. It had a hashtag. It had an awareness month. The whole community built around it, which is actually why they didn't completely walk away from the name. They chose evolution over revolution, and same first letter, same shape, same community.
Okay, so what won't we miss?
A number of times I've had to tell a patient, no, you don't have cysts. Your ovaries aren't going to burst.
Yeah.
The delayed diagnosis, the slim women being dismissed, the comeback when you want kids, the metabolic stuff going completely unmanaged for years. None of that. I won't miss any of it. And I think this name change is going to help shift things. Slowly, but it'll definitely shift.
The language is now doing the real medical work, and it's great. I mean, this is something that has been in the making for such a long time. And I think women will feel heard a lot more when they present in their doctor's offices. So that's amazing. A huge win. So if there was anything to take away from this episode, Nick, what is it? What's this one takeaway you want to leave everybody with?
You don't have cysts. You probably never did. And the condition you've been living with is bigger and more interesting than the name was ever letting on.
And for me, this isn't just something that we are talking about and just trying to get some attention for. No, this is really a science catching up to how people and how women have felt about this condition for decades. So I'm really glad that the science has caught up to how women have felt for so long, and that it's just not one thing, and it's not just about babies, and it unfortunately just doesn't go away as we get older. It's a lifelong condition that can be managed, and now we have a really great name that encompasses all of that. So it's about being heard and being managed accurately, and all of those things really do matter. So I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so whether you've got PCOS or PMOS or you're somewhere in the middle, you are the same person as you were yesterday. You just have a better name for what's going on.
And we're going to have to rebrand this podcast, Laura.
Yeah, we'll workshop it. We'll see what we come up with.
I think it's going to be pretty easy. Surely it's just going to be, it's not you, it's PMOS.
It's going to take me a little while to get my head around saying that, but I'm all for it. So stay tuned to another episode of It's Not You, It's PMOS.
See you next time, guys.